Well, we just landed in West Palm Beach, drive about 100 miles to come to right here in the middle of Florida, one of the largest cow-calf operations in the world. This is the Adams Ranch. Let's roll.
My father bought the first land here in the mid-1930s. At that time, this was the last piece of open range left in the United States. There were no fences here. I even helped build some of the original fences. In my lifetime, I've seen it go from the open range to the present day state that we have here in Florida. I came here after I got out of service in World War II, married my wife, and she lives in this house right here. We had 3 sons, and we have 8 grandsons and 4 granddaughters, and we have 3 great-grandchildren.
We're just gonna move these 2-year-old pairs here today, get them on some fresh grass and try to take care of these calves a little bit and just rotate these cattle around quite a bit down here and put them on fresh grass. Kind of easy day to day. We've got all of our spring work done, our marking and branding, so we're just mainly rotating cattle and just tending to them. Bring her back in. Pretty work, pretty work.
Hip, hey, hip, hey, hip. Well, every kid likes to have a playhouse on the ranch, but I believe that the Adams Ranch has the best playhouse.
We built this thing here, and everything in this building come off the ranch, all but the tin and the nails. We bought that. They come from the city, come from town. And the rest of it was right here from the woods, cut, sawed, everything. Both places, we got about 50,000 acres, and we run about 10,000 head of mother cows, but we give them, this here's got a lot of wasteland in it, a lot of swamp, stuff like that, so we run about a cow every 4.5, 5 acres. It is cow-calf country. It's not much on yearlings and feeding out beef steers, because it's easier to send the cows to the corn than it is to bring the corn to the cattle. And the heat down here bothers them. But this is cow-calf country, and that's what we're noted for.
So Billy, what do you got here?
This is a museum that Bud kind of put together to kind of show some artifacts from the ranch and
Yeah?
some of the history of the ranch.
Well, let's
Come on
check
in
it
and I'll
out.
show you around.
Wow, got a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah, some of his, not all of it, but this is some of his life findings around the ranch, and shows a lot of history. This old canoe we found over in the swamp, and his old Seminole Indian canoe dug out, and he actually built this one himself with a hammer and chisel. We helped him cut down the cypress tree out of the swamp, and he persistent and chiseled it out. And some of the photos of the green corn dance with the Seminole Indians on the place we used to own. And this Polly Parker was an Indian that lived here on the ranch. She went through some pretty rough times.
Oh, I'll bet she's seen some stuff,
I
hasn't she?
guarantee you. And so that's just some of his history he knew on her, and just a few artifacts and some photos he took around the ranch.
We started with the native Spanish cattle, which were not very big or not very good, and they were upgraded with Brahma. In 1948, I crossed Hereford bulls on Brahma cows. We brought these bulls in from Kansas, and mosquitoes infected them with anaplasmosis, which we didn't know what was in those days, and the bulls died. But the offspring were immune through their colostrum, and they did very, very well. So because it was difficult to bring northern bulls into this area, we used the Brayford bulls or Brayford cows.
We got a lot of background in our Brayfords. I mean, a lot of history. Calving and all was pretty clean. And we sell a lot more commercial people than anything else. We sell bulls and replacement heifers. Our replacement heifers and bulls are our big sale. We keep about 600 head of bulls and calves a year. We go through them, cull through them, and we have a big bull sale right here.
Now this is the breeding program that you guys are pretty much known for, right?
Yes, sir. This is the Brayford breed. This is about 300 head of cows we keep down in one pasture, and all 100% Brayford cows and original breed. Back here, that was taken back in the 90s.
The advantage of the Brayfords are that we raised them here by the thousands, and we did it all within a closed herd. We picked the very best bulls and mated them so that there was no outside blood being brought in. There's no defective genes in them, no dwarfism, no bad genes in them.
We realized we lost a lot of heterosis in a closed herd. It's a gene in there that you lose in your cattle when you breed them too close. You get outside blood in them and the heterosis comes out. We went out to Texas to King Ranch, and we let them do all the sites on everything, and they come up to that Geltby and the Red Angus, so we decided to put it in the Brayford cow and start to cross like that.
In 1990, I saw the research from Clay Center, Nebraska on their use of composites and hybrids. You get about 23% more production out of a hybrid program than you do with purebreds.
A-beef is a breed of cattle that Bud Adams started. We had 5 different breeds of Brayford cattle, 5 different family of bulls. And we put Red Angus on the Brayfords, and we put a Geltby on purebred Brayfords. And their calves was F1s. So we crossed them back over. That's how we come up with the A-beef. We don't belong to no association, so we can change the breed any way we want to. We put more Red Angus in it or more Geltby in it or any way we want to do it, because we don't have strict guidelines like a rest of people got.
You say that there's 300 cows there, and y'all do a rotation program.
Yes.
How many times do you rotate them, and how many acres do they move to?
Just depends. There's probably 3,000, maybe 2,500 acres. We rotate them between 3. We got it broke up in 3 pastures, and it may be weekly. It depends on what time of year it is, how the grass is looking. Summertime, we might leave them 2.5 weeks. I'll just ride them and check them. If I see the grass getting a little short or the grass is ready for them, we'll rotate them around to the next pasture over and put them on some fresh grass. Keeps parasites, you know, from eating a lot of parasites. Helps with our worming and just keeps our cows where they're handled. We can get them gathered a lot easier and works good for everything.
Those cattle look good.
We're taking care of cows in the woods and all, and the heifers calving with no supervision. Probably in the first generation we lost a few heifers, but that's the way all the deer and the bison did. Birth was not meant to be a surgical process, it's a natural process. All of our Brayfords on the ranch have been born unassisted. You expect your cows to work for you. If you don't have to babysit your heifers 24 hours a day, you can be doing something productive. And it's the job of Buddy and Billy to observe those cows, and when they eat that grass, move them.
It's not all that big to us, but a lot of people say, oh, how do you keep up with everything? They see these swamps and all. How do you get them cows out of there? But we're just not mean to our cows. They don't mind coming out. We rotate them and they're ready to change. Some of these boys cowboy them too hard. People hot shot and jobbing, beating, framming on them, put too many in one wad. You got to handle them, and you got to make them do right. But if you go ahead and not be hard on them and cruel to them, they'll work for you.
A lot of people in cities will see this, and we want them to know that their beef is raised in a good way, and it's safe, and it's the best food in the world.
You killed this snake up here?
Bud did, I think. He strapped his hide up here, and some of his photos of bobcats on a deer kill there. A lot of people think that the panthers kill all the deer, but these big bobcats, they take them down too.
There's your nice gator right there,
Yeah.
huh? Oh, man.
This is one here. He was in a water hole up at our Lake Marion Ranch. He was 11'3", and he had about 2.5 foot of his tail missing. He was bobtail, so he was well over 12 foot. And we usually don't kill any of the gators here. We have a few permits. We every now and then have to take a nuisance gator out, but Bud believes they have their purpose. And we got so many. You've seen all the ditches through the ranch. The cow, they don't catch many calves or hardly any here because chances are them being in place where they can go drink water. But he'd caught a couple yearlings, and we got a permit to get him taken out. And,
Right.
And done away with him. So he cost us a little money, but on the most part down here, everybody's like, I can't believe you don't kill them gators.
We leave all them hammocks. We don't push trees or nothing. We build a fence around them and leave everything natural. Now we do improve some pasture. You know, we have to with our cattle. We control our wildlife, and everybody in the world comes here to see wildlife.
We have a lot of wildlife here, and we all hunt and fish and that sort of thing, and we want to take care of the wildlife.
Bud's big in Mother Nature. You know, everything we do is off of Mother Nature.
People can come here and see hundreds of kinds of birds, alligators, fish, deer, and turkey. We have the only Osceola wild turkey, subspecies of wild turkeys found only in the peninsula of Florida. So turkey hunters come from all over to hunt here.
A little bit of everything, raccoons, otters, you name it, we got it here. We take care of it. We look out for it. We got hunting leases, but we control their hunting lease. We're not state government run or nothing.
The hunting enables us to control their numbers. If we're getting too many deer, we ask them to kill some does. If we want to increase the deer herd, why, we ask them not to kill the does. And so our hunting is really a conservation effort too.
See that gator right there? How big you think that gator right there is?
That gator there is about 10 foot.
Oh boy. He's big enough to take a
Yeah.
full-size cowboy down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Red-headed.
Yeah.
5'9". Yeah.
Most family businesses don't make it through the third generation. What we're trying to do, my granddaughter is working with the Nature Conservancy, the Audubon Society, the state of Florida, federal fish and wildlife people, to put some easements on part of our land. What that will mean that regardless of how Florida grows or how valuable the land gets, future generations will not be tempted to sell it for development because that land will stay in grass and trees and cattle in perpetuity. There's 100 times more automobiles here than there was 50 years ago. Where's the carbon from those autos and power plants and cities going? Our air is still good. It's going into our grass leaves and our tree leaves. The cattle eat part of the grass and stomp the other into the ground. This is improving the soil. It's adding organic matter to the soil, and that makes us a sustainable enterprise. People are beginning to realize now that they're growing a lot of corn, they're burning it in ethanol, they're depleting their soils, and it probably is not a completely sustainable enterprise. This is our land, so we take care of it. A balance of plant life and animal life is necessary to make our world work. It works in the soils in the Midwest were built up by bison grazing there for 1 million years, and it could be depleted in less than 100 years if it's not taken care of. It is going to be a real problem to feed the world's people if we don't take measures now to take care of our soil and our land, and that is the real importance of conservation. When our grandchildren get about 10 or 11 years old, some of them say, "Why can't I ride horses with the men?" I tell them, you have to go ask Billy for a job like anybody else. So some of them would do that. Others, their mothers had taken them to the band or other activities, and now the ones that wanted to be in the cattle business, they are. And we haven't forced anybody to do that. And the ones that want to be musicians or artists, they do that. And they've left the ranch. I say, that's good.
They've been really good to my family, me and my family, so it's just what I like to do, and I think of it as my own, and they treat me as family.
They've got me a long way. They helped put me through college, and I got to go fulfill my education and get my bachelor's degree in Oklahoma, and it got me out there and got the day work out there, and it got to see a whole nother life to the cowboy. And this, I thought everybody did it this way, and then for 20 years, and then went out there, and it's completely different.
We can run more cows per acre here. Out west, they can't run as many cows per acre as we can.
I mean, he didn't have to put us through college, or me, or any of us. I mean, my family was just working for a paycheck, and I mean, Mr. Bud didn't have to do none of that, but he sure has, and he kind of included us in over the summers with his own grandkids, and we got to do a lot of stuff. And I mean, you don't see this kind of stuff anymore. There's not 3 generations working on a ranch or nothing like that anymore.
The people that have stayed here, they're honest. They've never been arrested. They've never been embarrassed by anything, and they've had a good life.
He told me he took care of their education because you know, they'd been here and felt like they was part of the family, and so he guaranteed me if they wanted to go to school and get an education that he'd make sure that happened. And when a man tells you that, it's hard not to give your all for them, you know, or family or whatever, you know. So that's why I do what I do, just because I love it, and out of respect for that man there and his family, how good they've been to me. So I try to do the best job I can for them.
Appreciate you having me today.
Yes, sir.
It's
Anytime.
quite an experience. See some cowboying in Florida.
Yeah, we're glad to show you how we kind of do it, and glad you come down and showed some interest in it.
You got lots of history around here.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate the ride.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.